so now that we have our eyes and our beard done, we're going to work on our ears. So this is not something that I have done with him before. With him only being a year, I wanted to keep the puppy look on the ears because I wanted the judges to know that we are still a puppy. Kind of helps when he decides to act like a puppy. But I don't want him to be judged as a fully grown adult because he looks like one when he is not. So now that he's a year, it's time for me to start trimming his ear. So this is going to be an interesting experience because, like I said, I've never done this before. And usually I just brush him out. So you can see we have lots of hair on our ear. His actual ear ends here. So all this is hair. Stay. So we're supposed to have long, abundant, wavy hair, even on our ears. We are also supposed to have triangular shaped ears. So I want to make sure I'm keeping that shape. So what I do when I trim ears, I'm going to rely on my skills that I've learned from Aussies that also have triangular ears, is I'm going to follow the natural shape of the ear. So I'm going to brush it out in my hand here. I don't want to take too much because I also want to keep that long, abundant, wavy hair. So I'm going to use my thinning shears. Again, these are not chunkers. The teeth are close together. I'm going to keep my hand on what's called the leather of his ear. So the actual like meat part of the ear, not the hair. That way I can make sure I'm not going to cut him, but I also am aware of the shape. So we're just going to trim and follow that. Clean out my scissors there. Good boy, you stay. Good boy. So I'm going to adjust my angle, stay, based on what I need to do, what I find easy for what works for us. So sometimes I might be coming this way, other times I might be going the other direction, but right now all I'm doing is trimming down and keep making sure I'm following that natural shape of the leather. Every so often I'm going to stop and put my thinning shears down and brush it out. I'm going to make sure I brush out underneath the ear because when I set the ear down, I want to make sure that the hair I'm seeing is matching. I don't want anything to stick out funny. So, still have some work to do on the shape. Take it a little bit shorter, I think. Again, I don't want it too short because I still want to show that we have long, abundant, wavy hair. But it's getting a little too long for my liking because it's going in the water bowl. All right, you're being so good. All right, so as you can see, we've taken quite a bit of length off. We still have quite a bit of hair. We're now about down from 3 inches to about 1.5 inches at the tip. So we're going to look a little bit more adult-like, which is appropriate for us at this point in our career. And showing, take that down. So all this hair up here, I want to thin it out because it looks like there's two different sections of hair. And I want it to look like it's one cohesive. So, but I don't want to take too much. So what I'm going to do is I brushed it out. I'm going to smooth it out with my hand. I'm going to go with the direction of the hair. And I'm just going to stick it in and chomp my scissors a couple times. So this should help me take out some, but not too much. So that's how much got removed. It looks like a lot, but in the scheme of things, it's not really. I need you to sit, bud. Good boy. So I'm going to brush it down. Good boy. All right. So I like how the front part of this ear looks. It looks like it's, it still looks natural. It'll grow out in about 2 weeks a little bit, so it'll look even better. But I don't love how this is laying right now. So I'm going to brush it out and see if that helps. And I'm going to do basically the same thing, where I'm going to take my scissors in the same direction as his hair and go in the places that I'm not really loving and just give it a couple snips. Take my comb and brush it out. And as you do this, you might find areas where you don't really love how the shape turned out, so you might want to clean it up. like I'm seeing right here, I don't like how the under and the upper of the ear are laying together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the ear, brush this down, and all of this is the problem. So it's sticking out in a weird way, so I'm going to thin that out. I don't know if you guys have the problem like we do here. He gets a lot of mats in this area, so thinning it out should also help with that. And again, this is the first time I'm ever trimming his ears. He's being a very good boy for me. So what I'm going to do, meaning this is the very first time that we're doing it, I'm not going to go until I'm perfectly happy with it, because I want to see what it's going to do in the next day or two. I can always trim more. If I trim too much, I just have to wait for it to grow back. So we have a much shorter looking ear now. We still have that triangular shape with the, I keep a rounded tip because the leather of the ear, if you feel it, is rounded. Everything I do is based on the breed standard and the natural lines of the dog. So this is our hot mess of an ear that we haven't done compared to our cleaned up ear. I might take more of this off in the next day or two, but for right now, I'm just going to let it do its thing, see what I might need to do. We are in the off season right now for showing, so now is my time where I'm going to experiment and see what I like. Try different methods from different breeds and different breeders, and just see what works for us. Everybody's coat's going to be slightly different. Our climates are slightly different. What we use, there's so many things that influence our coats. It's basically just kind of figuring out what works for you and your dog.